And subscribers, and welcome to Starry Hilda's Off-Grid Kitchen. Okay, so this morning this is going to be a little bit different video. It's for all of you friends out there who have pets. Now, I just posted a video, hopefully you watched it, about how to save on dog food. We know dog food is just horrendously expensive. It's ridiculous. I can't even afford it. I can't afford to even eat like the dogs. $50 a bag for grain-free dog food, and I'm not willing to buy the cheap stuff, because I remember the scare 8 years ago when there was tainted dog food, and I knew people who lost their pets because they ate that tainted dog food. So I like to control the ingredients that my dogs are eating. So they get a lot of fresh vegetables, a lot of fresh fruits, nuts, believe it or not, they're eating all of that. And I'm mixing it up with a lot of my bulk food items like my grains, my millet, and my rice, and I always mix it up. And then I'm using my pressure canned meat that was either from roadkill for the dogs or a good sale at the store. But I thought this morning, you know what, I'm mixing up the food for the dogs, and I'm going to grab the camera and show you friends exactly how I do it and give you a couple tips, because I know we're all on a budget. Come on, unless we're independently wealthy, food is expensive for us and for them. So just some simple tips on how to save. So, you know, maybe one day you can go off the grid and afford it, because living off the grid is very empowering, but you have to learn some self-sustainable tips. And this is kind of one of those things where you got to think outside the box, and it's going to keep you debt-free and slave-free, and, you know, put a little more money back in your pocket. Okay, so let's go. I'll show you what I'm cooking for them. So real quickly, friends, I want to bring you into my pantry. And although, of course, the pantry here is for long-term food storage. We do not believe, because we live off-grid, in using the freezer, so everything goes into canning and bulk food purchases. Now, what I like to do is my grains, especially, I buy a little extra because they're so cheap. I've got long grain brown rice, which is for us 25 pounds, but also for the dogs. I'll mix that with, I've got a big old bag here of my jasmine rice, and then look at this, I've got pearled barley. This is the stuff that is just on hand. There's another bag of long grain white rice. I have, I believe there's millet in here. And then I have my cases that I just canned up of my chicken. This is chicken that I got on sale at the store for the dogs. Now, of course, all of this is food for people. This is people food. But I will buy a little extra, keeping in mind that I've got, you know, I've got two dogs to feed. Right, Sprig? I've got you to feed. And that for me to save on dog food, all I got to do is buy maybe an extra 25-pound a bag of long grain rice. And this long grain rice here, I think that 25 pounds was maybe $13. You know, $13, you know how far rice can go? So, you know, that is why, look at this dog. That is why they eat the way that they eat. It's not just healthier, but the bottom line is it's so much cheaper. And when you have access to bulk foods, I tell you, buy a little extra for your dogs and keep it in your pantry. Now, this here is the accessible long-term storage. And when I talk about long-term for us is this is all going to be used up probably within a couple months. And then I've got other stuff that is in my steel barrels. The other thing that I buy in bulk, and I'll show you here, that I like feeding the dog is different types of nuts. And once again, I'm going to take this out of here. What I get a great savings on is nuts. You know, nuts are super expensive. And look at this. These are beautiful organic walnuts. I have a source in California, and I have them shipped here. This is, I believe, a 25-pound bag. You know, the purchase, when you do things in bulk, are going to hurt a little bit, but in the end, the hurting's going to stop, because per pound, I forgot what I paid for this, but you can't beat it. And I use a lot of nuts on the homestead for myself. And then, of course, a little bit for the dogs, because it makes their dog food go a little bit further, and it's healthy for them. So Sprig is a nut eater. ideas when it comes to feeding your dogs. Now, fresh from the garden, whatever I have in the garden, because we do get extra, goes into the dog bowl. So this is a beautiful big zucchini. I had a cucumber the other day, and what I do is I just throw it right in my little food chopper, and I process it, because you'll notice that some dogs are a little finicky about vegetables, so I like to process it pretty fine. And then when I do go to the store, you know, I don't have cauliflower on my homestead right now, so look at this. I got a vegetable melody for 99 cents. And when you see bargains like that, think dog food, because you're going to save a lot of money. And so I am going to throw a little bit of raw, this is all raw, cauliflower in my mix too, and grind that up real fine. And then also, it's been berry picking season, and we've got blueberries to pick, and we have people who grow their own bushes, so then they get blueberries. So nice little mix, but the key really is to grind it up super fine so you can mix it with your rice. And then this is where your canned meat comes in, the alluring part of feeding your dogs, because you don't need a lot of meat in your dog food. They just need, you know, obviously they need a source of protein, so, but what I'm saying is you don't need a lot to get them to eat the good stuff, the other good stuff. So depending how much my dogs are running, like after a long run, I will give them a lot more meat for their source of protein. And I mix that in there real nice. And then the other thing you can do too is on my shelf here, I always have other types of nuts. I have, if you look up here, I got raw sunflowers. I have a sesame seed, which is really good also. And I have some raw cashews. I'll throw that in there. And I had some, some flax, raw. And flax actually does better if you grind it, because the seeds will kind of go right through them. But I'm just showing you, friends, what you can mix into your dog food that really is healthy. Dog food, if I do buy dog food, and you can see this is the Rachel brand, and it is has no grains in it. It's very good. But I got this on sale at a closeout store for $9.69. Otherwise, I refuse to buy dog food. This bag usually costs, I think, anywhere from $15 to $18, depending on where you're shopping. So what I will do is, especially if your dogs are so used to dog food, I'm just showing you what you can do is you can take your regular dog food and mix it right into the food. And that way you kind of assimilate their taste buds to, oh, you know, I recognize dog food, but ooh, I taste that chicken, and I didn't even notice the mixture of really healthy stuff, raw stuff. So that's kind of a way to get them going with a really healthy, a really healthy diet. Okay, friends, so that is Starry's and Sprig's recipe for a dog food. And now, just keep in mind that every pet is different, and I know there's different diets out there. There's some that are totally raw, and some people may say, you know, too many grains aren't good, and you should probably feed more raw meat and bones for their teeth. These are really healthy dogs, and trust me, as a nurse, they're getting really good care. So this is what works on our homestead, and the dogs are running between 12 and 15 miles. I have a good healthy portion of protein with a mix of carbo, and then the fresh raw vegetables and fruits, and they're doing great. And they're very healthy. But just consider the pets that you have and choose your own diet. But this is just a Starry's way of saving money and controlling those ingredients and keeping my pets healthy and happy. And I love passing it on to you friends at home. So, all right, until next time, stop buying all that expensive dog food and try some real food for your pets. You'd be surprised at how much you'll save.